episode number
12 of Modern Alchemy. And
Welcome.
This month we're focusing on personal alchemy.
Yes.
And what that means. And we've talked about the physical body, and then we, over the last couple of weeks, have talked about mental and emotional alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to continue that because it's a very deep topic. Very deep. And so let's talk about emotional alchemy. A couple of weeks ago, we said there's a certain percentage of your unconscious mind, more on that in a minute, that drives behavior every single day.
Yes.
Do you remember what that percentage is?
95.
95%, according to psychology, of your behavior, the decisions you take or don't take, the way you do or don't do, are driven by your unconscious mind.
Which is kind of scary.
Which is kind of scary. And yet, if you understand it, then you can work with it and you can transmute it, which is the subject of alchemy. And so your unconscious is your emotional mind.
Yes.
And why are emotions so important, Bersabeh?
Emotions run the body.
They run the body. Emotions are energy in motion. They move the body to act. And many of them, according to modern science, are precognitive. It means that they happen before you can think about it. So to just change your thinking is not going to get you where you need to be.
No.
Does that make sense to you? I hope it does. And so one of the most powerful things you can do to transmute your life, your relationships, your business, is to make the unconscious conscious. Because it's a big rub. If 95% of your emotions, 95% of your actions are driven by your unconscious,
Yes.
that means you're doing what?
You're on autopilot.
Yeah, I mean, 5% of the time you're making conscious decisions and taking conscious action, but 95% of the time you're on unconscious autopilot. Now think about that for a second. Now, what resides in your unconscious is something that we talk about a lot and work with a lot in our work, called unresolved emotional issues.
Yes. Traumas.
Trauma, exactly. And do traumas have to be like catastrophic?
No, I think it's all relative.
A lot of your traumas have been catastrophic.
They're catastrophic, and it's relative from which part of the world I come from.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I'm
When
sure
you
there's
come
a lot
from a
of people-
traumatic part of the world, then...
I'm sure a lot of people from there can relate.
Yeah, exactly. So here's what the shamanic traditions state about unresolved emotional issues or traumas. And it sounds a little mystical, and it is, but it's also very, very practical. They say that when you have these unresolved emotional issues, you literally leave a piece of your soul attached to that unresolved trauma.
Oh, for sure.
And so what they talk about is soul retrieval, is going back, because energetically you're putting a lot of energy and attention unconsciously to these pieces of your soul that are going out with all these emotional events that have not been resolved.
Yeah.
And when you go back and you heal them and integrate them, you bring a piece of your soul back, and they call that soul retrieval.
Oh, yeah. It's very powerful.
It is powerful.
Yeah, I was working with a client of mine doing an intuitive consultation, and we actually did that. Went back and brought a piece of his soul back.
From a very early age.
From a very early age. I believe it was 3 years old or so. And it was very powerful.
Incredibly powerful,
Yeah.
because, you know, here's someone in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and a piece of their soul, literally, or a piece of their energy is stuck at 3 years old. Now, here's what a lot of people believe in so-called spiritual circles, that you can meditate and deal with these issues.
No, you gotta act as well.
You've got to, meditation is good.
Yes, of course.
You know, but my Zen master, our Zen master that we worked with for years, actually said straight up, he said, so many people sit in an ashram for 20 years and they just sit on their stuff. They don't really
Stuff.
stuff, technical term. They don't
Fill in the blank.
Yeah, they don't get there. And so meditation is good, but it's not guaranteed to heal emotional trauma. It's not guaranteed to retrieve your soul. And so our prime objective, all of us, if you want to have an amazing and fulfilling life, relationships, and business, is to clean up,
Grow up.
and wake up. And they have to happen in that order. In fact, the mysteries tell us that you have to clean up at least
51%.
You're right, 51% of your unresolved emotional issues to ever begin the process of growing up, much less waking up.
Yeah.
So hopefully this is something for you to think about, but more importantly, to act upon.
Yes.
And we want to thank you for a couple of moments of your day. Modern alchemy is where we must be to take our power back. And so thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this is helpful. Please, it's not just about thinking about it. It's about acting upon it.
You're here for a reason.
You're here for a reason, a specific reason.
Yes.
And we are glad to have you as part of our community. We'll talk to you next week.
Have a good day.
God bless.
Bye.